9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Got me up the coast, boy. Wanna hear the ocean roar, crash over me. Then ride it home, dance it out in moonlight. Hold me tight and don't let go. Watch over me. We are all stardust, stardust, stardust. Left behind, left to find. Find one another, face the sun, fear no one, 'cause we are all one, we are all one, we are all, we are all one, we are all one, we are all. Pick me up, yeah, moonchild, put me into overflow. Superstar.
Hey everyone. I love that intro more and more every time I watch it. Like, I don't know. I think when you first change your intro, it's weird because you get used to one. And yeah, I had to change the other one because it was way outdated. But yeah, I really like that one. And that was thanks to Burn Barrel. You've been loving this Detective fella. I've been binge watched much of his content while wrapping Christmas presents today. I like that he's not afraid to speak out about what he really believes is happening, because I understand that many of us want to be protective of other people's like traumas and feelings and stuff. But you know, it's a real thing that trafficking and things like that. It was brought up in his premiere today, and some really disturbing things that he believes could be happening. And a lot of people are afraid to talk about it because he's exactly right. What he was saying about the behavioral panel, and he stated that, you know, that he had heard that the behavioral panel, you know, that a lot of people commenting on the behavioral panel that they had actually been favorable towards the parents, and he was acknowledging that the deception detective was, and he was discussing how people like that who are, I call them too Hollywood, are just they have sponsors and things like that are on the line, and they also were affiliated with the Dr. Phil show, so you know their opinions had to match. I would think. I don't know. I would think that Dr. Phil would want them all to be on the same wavelength, and so when you start like, you have to always consider their source with anything and understand like people's biases and their motives. And also, you know, you have to take into account things like that. It sucks because the behavioral panel seems like a nice group of guys and stuff. I hope that they're being honest about their opinions. But he also, like he said, that he is listening to what they say, not their actions, but what they say. He stated, the deception detective stated that criminals like these, like Donna Candace, allegedly, are very good at covering up, because you always hear how to cover up your action, cover up. Well, make sure you look people in the eyes, right? And you don't want to look too nervous. And, there's things that we hear all the time that people can alter their behaviors. But at the same time, too, I understand these experts are supposed to be trained in noticing those as well. Today's wiener, though, is not a drama nana. Whoop, whoop. And we have 2 people that just became members or renewed their membership. Honey Elder and Diana, 1967. Thank you guys so much. So we might check out a little bit of this guy's video. I don't want to play it all like word for word like I did yesterday, because I think we should watch it over on his anyways. And plus, many of you guys already, now that you're aware of them, have already seen it. Deception Detective confirmed some things I said that certain creators said don't happen. Yeah, he explained that, why people are afraid when it comes to sensitive topics like this. People are afraid. Like, it's just like he said, it's that whole, well, what if you're wrong, or what if I'm wrong thing, And that's why he was saying he separates himself from channels, tries to be as independent as possible, like not going on panels and stuff. Like, he might go in the chat, come in the chats, and like he was yesterday, and might give a shout out, but he doesn't like collaborate really on panels and stuff, is what he was saying on his video. And it's because of things like that. If he's wrong, he doesn't want his opinion to affect somebody else, like their lives, or them get in trouble. But so he just wants to, on his own, independently. But it's just an opinion. It's just his expert opinion. He's educated in it, and in what is it, speech analysis, some kind of speech analysis, and he's a licensed attorney. Did you guys all see, real quick before we go into any of that, real quick about Fred Hill? Which in the description, I have Deception Detective's link, and also some other information, my website, and also information if you want, for those, because a lot of people have been asking lately, like how can we help Fred? But I'm putting that information in the description, but only do so if you absolutely want to, do please. And if you have it, and no strings attached type deal. So, I got this card today from Fred, and if you notice at the top right, he gave you guys a shout out. Love you guys. That's for you guys. And he also emailed me and wanted me to tell you guys that he loves you guys again. So he says, Merry Christmas, my dearest, and New Year, and many to come. I wish you and your family the best during the holidays. Hey, I'm doing good, eager to get out so I can start a new beginning in life. One chapter closes and another opens. When I get all my lifestyle took care of, I would like, or if I get all my stuff took care of, I would like to come and visit you one day And we'll, as soon as I get all took care of, I promise. And he puts, I love you guys. Love always, Fred Hill, your backwards ass hillbilly. So I wanted to share that with you guys. I think Fred's starting to like the attention a little bit. I don't think he's not used to it. Really liked Deception Detective. I'm really glad you guys are liking it, because I do too, or liking him. We're going to go over it, some of it here in a second. I'm trying to pull up something. No. Something else Fred sent me, just like, it's not super fascinating, but it does show kind of what I'm talking about, of how they were keeping him from communicating. So basically, this is this disciplinary report is an accurate one. I mean, he did do the violation in question on November 14th, 2023. It says inmate Fred Hill using other inmates' chirp, even though your chirp privileges are revoked until further notice per jail administration. And then it just says here where Fred checks and says that, he wishes to waive a disciplinary hearing and accept the following discipline, which is loss of his commissary privileges for 30 days. So yeah, losing his commissary. So he hasn't been able to get commissary. So that money, any money you guys, if you have sent on his commissary, he will get it when he gets out. But yeah, like in a check or some crap, I don't know. It's been a nightmare. There's many of you people have actually sent money to the wrong place because of freaking Hawkins County stupid games. But what I right here, using other inmates' chirp, even though your chirp privileges are revoked until further notice per jail administration. But they don't tell him why. Oh, that just your chirp, it's because he spoke out on here and people called the jail and caused all kinds of issues, which makes zero sense. We just had Rap on here the other day, and that jail had zero problems with it. Hey, Justin. So here, we'll watch we'll check out some of this. I think he made there's some points during it, I'm like cheering him on. I'm like, yes, thank the Lord. Like, we have somebody, like, I'm sorry. I'm not saying you're abnormal if you are supporting the parents, but I mean, I guess I kind of am. But I do believe, like, a lot, I agree with him. I do believe a lot of people are afraid to speak up what they truly believe happened because they don't want to be looked at like, oh, how could you put SA on a little girl or Summer, blah, blah, blah. Well, the reason why we can is because you need to ask Dawn that. You need to ask Dawn, like, why he has such a history of weird freaking comments about little girls. And if he didn't have that history, then we wouldn't think that. if he didn't have a history where his stepsisters say that he tried to sell his son and his ex-wife said that, if we didn't have like, you know, supposedly he's smoking a joint work places with his 10-year-old 11-year-old whatever son, and just that he also tried picking up a little girl over by Bowser. I hear Fred told me it was over by Bowser Cemetery is where the incident took place, which is actually was kind of which was right over by Cotton's house is what Fred said. That Don, that day when he was, you remember, went up and acted like, oh, I'm saving this little girl from being kidnapped. The weirdo just walks in somebody's house. Like, anyways, that incident, Fred said, happened right over by Cotton's house. I don't know if it means anything. It's just it's just a comment. It's not saying anything. It's just what Fred says. It might be important. Where there's smoke, there's fire. I agree. Exactly. It's putting on Dawn. He talks about that a lot in this video about, you know, the people talking about exploitation and stuff like that. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. I get it. The covering missing children. It's like there's such a gray area of what exploiting a child is when we do, you know what I mean? There's no definitive like, okay, that's exploitation, which just basically we have to use our opinion on, okay, is this creator exploiting, I'm sorry. So it's just by opinion, but somebody has to do it, because how would anybody know about the child missing, get her face out there? I mean, social media is our most powerful tool we have. Hey, Charlie and Whistle, Kathy, Miss D, Dawn, Born to Disobey. I want to plagiarize Deception Detective. I can't be shamed, bought, or blackmailed. I love that. Finally, a man of integrity. If it's true, I mean, that's what he says, so give him the benefit of doubt. He seems to know what he's talking about. Hey, Tina. The young lady comment regarding Dawn was strange. He points out some he does point out weird things. I love how he points out the comments that Dawn makes, like, about, like, how he talks about, like talking about little girls in hotels and them being sexually assaulted, but him explaining it like as if the girl is getting effed, or, you know what I mean? Like, that is not normal talk for a child of a missing father. That's not normal talk for anybody. Okay. But that's major red flags. It's not funny because it's so disgusting, but at the same time, it's just so obvious that this guy, that Don Wells, it's so obvious that this is normal behavior for him. He doesn't see anything wrong with talking about young girls' bodies that aren't even developed. Preteen. That tells me he's talking about a 12-year-old. Yeah, it tells me in those rumors about, well, not rumors, it's absolute fact Dawn admitted to messing with his 5-year-old stepsister when he was 12, and he tried to talk about it like, oh, it was like something consensual or something. The same way the same weird, like, way he talks about these girls in hotel rooms and summer, and oh, it's so horrible, guys. Like, it's so bad. I don't get to see the whole video yet because I came here live, but does he say why he thinks Summer's head was shaved? He doesn't think it was lice at all. He thinks it was either punishment or Candace's jealousy. So, hey, Ryan. He said Summer was effing someone in a hotel. I know, right? What the hell? Like that? Come on. So let's listen here a little bit. Where should I start this?
Important are inconsistencies. I'm Deception Detective. I'm an attorney trained in statement analysis, and this channel exists to expose lies and manipulation. Before we proceed, please hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell. This is the second video in my series on Summer Wells, and today we're going to look at one of the...
which I want to say, he told me in the comments while we were watching this premiere that it was because of our channel here at Ziggy, True Crime and Discussion, that a reason why he put this video out so quickly, because of all your guys' support and encouraging him to continue these videos, and he saw the interest. So, and he said because of this channel specifically, that why he got this video, a second video, out so quickly. So you guys are making a difference.
Earliest interviews with Summer Wells' parents, Don and Candace Wells. This interview was done on June 29th, 2021. So it was within 2 weeks of when Summer went missing. I've watched the first few seconds of this, and it starts off with the bang. So we're going to hit the ground running, but I have not watched the whole thing. So I'm sure much more will pop up as we go. Without further ado, let's listen.
A lot. I know she didn't walk away from this property by herself or off this yard by her swing. I feel in my heart that somebody has came up here and took her, has lured her away from here.
Already, we can see a huge red flag. When someone's kid goes missing, they typically leave all possibilities open, and we've seen examples of this on the channel. So whenever a parent or anyone is conclusive about something, I'm on alert that they might be hoaxing. And the 4 signs of a hoaxer that I've developed over the course of a dozen videos about hoaxers on the channel, these are the 4 signs.
Sorry, I got up for a second. When you have time, it would be useful to get more info, The swimming hole nurse. Okay. He probably would tell you if you asked him. I have to get you that information, though. Too bad he's not out and can't show you the area. Yeah, but I still have to, get you the way to contact him. Which I will here in a few. So he's talking about the 4 signs of a hoaxer. Conclusiveness is like the number one, the very first thing that he will tip him off that, okay, this sounds like possibly a hoax, or it could be possibly a hoax. Somebody who's saying, oh, this is what happened. And they were like that from very jump. You know, if you're not going to think like that. If your child goes missing, you're not going to immediately think an abduction. That's just not something that happens. Like, it happens too much, yes, but it's not like so common that it's everyday. I mean, it is everyday thing in the United States, but you guys get what I mean. Like, it's not something that every day somebody, you know, is getting kidnapped or something. That's something that might happen once in a lifetime. Might. And most likely won't. You probably won't have anybody kidnapped in your family, but it's a possibility. So that's why it's a red flag here. Well, it's not, it's more so like when somebody's conclusive and knows, like, okay, this is what happened. That's when they're trying to get you to believe a certain thing happened. They're trying to, it's a way to try to manipulate you into believing that way. More people would have believed Candace if she scripted kidnapped from parking lot anywhere they went to that day. Yeah, too bad she didn't. Too bad, so sad. She didn't do a good job with her timeline. Remember, Candace had to be told by TBI or law enforcement that they needed to get their timeline together.
Conclusiveness, vagueness about the money shot, reticence about the money shot, and they are emotionless. And by money shot, I mean the subject of the hoax. So in the case of Bob Gimley, it's when he saw Bigfoot. That's the money shot.
Oh my gosh.
Or in the case of Bob Lazar, when he saw the UFO, that's the money shot. Or the McCanns, when they talk about going into the room and discovering that Madeline was missing, that's the money shot. In other words, the money shot is the part they have to sell you on if they are lying, if they want to convince you that they're not making up the story. And typically the money shot makes up maybe 1% of the entire story, right? So they might be telling the truth 99% of the time, but that 1%, that crucial bit where everything changes, that's the money shot. And that's where we need to check if they're lying or not. And already we can see that Candace is being very conclusive about Summer being kidnapped. So listen to her again. Listen to how conclusive she is. This is within.
I'm keeping it. My dogs are loud right now, so that's why I've been muted for. Come here, Bandit. Like, they're fighting over one of my makeup brushes. I see they're chewing up. I just noticed. Excuse me. So I pray there's an arrest soon. Yes. So I saw somebody in the comments talking about the head shaving. And it just made me think about it, because he didn't believe at all. Like, well, he didn't say anything. He didn't think lice or anything. So I'm wondering what he feels about. But see, like, that's another thing. They changed their story. Now they're going to say lice. You know what I mean? They've said both. So I've always believed the lice thing, and I thought that they were just embarrassed to say that's what they did. But that's not what he thought originally at all. He didn't. I don't know if, like, once he's asked about that possibility, if his opinion will change, but I don't know, because it's weird that they just didn't say that. You would think that if your daughter was missing, that you wouldn't care what people think about you for shaving your kid's head over lice or something. Like, you wouldn't. It's like they're trying to protect their image, and it's too much, instead of just worrying about finding Summer.
Two weeks of Summer going missing. For all she knows, if she doesn't know anything, Summer could have wandered off. A coyote could have taken her. A dingo, like that story in Australia. Any number of things could have happened, including an abduction. But she, just like the McCanns, is insistent that it was an abduction, which is the red flag, the big sign of a hoax. And then the question is, if she is hoaxing us, why? Why make up a story? So let's listen from the top.
A lot. I know she didn't walk away from this property by herself.
I know she didn't walk away from this property. How could she possibly know that? According to her, she was not looking when Summer disappeared.
How could
she turned her attention off of Summer for 2 minutes and Summer was gone. So how could she know Summer didn't walk off the property? If she didn't actually know what happened, or she didn't have an agenda, that should still be a possibility. In fact, it should be the top possibility, the most likely scenario. But she discounts.
I do too, Loomis. That's what my gut always thought from the beginning. Of course, I've changed my theories over a million times. Like, pretty much they always stay somewhat similar, but little details I'm constantly changing but from the beginning, and usually they say stick with your gut instinct. I really felt like Summer was causing problems in their relationship in some way. Like, and I believe a big part of it is some kind of jealousy from Candace. Whether it's like, oh, you love Summer more than me, or like, you need to prove you love me more. And, is that why they had to find a family? Was Candace like, or is that what they did? Did they find a family? And hey, crazy mom. What the hell is my daughter doing? She must be brushing her teeth, making weird gagging noises. We don't have dingoes, but we do have dingbats. Yeah, they did not and have not responded in a way that innocent parent would. Right, Georgia? Hey, Emma. Their actions show us everything. How can you want to ignore that? They sold baby Summer and Candace for money. Your daughter says I do. Every day, and everything the Wells do make them look more guilty.
It's it entirely.
Herself or off this yard by her swing. I feel in my heart that somebody has came up here and took her and has lured her away from here. Me and my mother and her were planting flowers.
All right, so here's the money shot. Now Candace is going to tell us about the moment where Summer vanished. Remember, if this is a hoax, we can expect conclusiveness, vagueness about the money shot, reticence about getting to the money shot, and emotionless. And by emotionless, I mean reported emotion. So a psychopath or a liar can cry or get hysterical or get angry when they're telling their story. But it's very rare that they're in the mindset to actually make up the emotions they would have felt if they were actually in that situation. And that is how you catch liars. And I've seen lots of comments of people telling me that the behavior panel thinks that Don and Candace Wells might not be guilty. And I think that's because they rely on body language, whereas I totally discount it. So if Candace does not report the appropriate emotions here, I don't care if she's crying, weeping, acting like she can't even stand up, she's about to faint. If she doesn't report the right emotions, then my antenna for a hoax goes up. I do not care at all what her or Don's body language says, because manipulators and liars are great at faking body language. They are not great, and in fact, nobody is, at placing themselves in a situation that they weren't actually in. And like I often say, even Hollywood blockbusters with multiple writers of scripts, unlimited budgets, unlimited time to make a movie, still.
Sorry, my dogs are going crazy, running laps back and forth, as you can hear. So that's why But this was an important part that I was wanting to talk about, was him talking about being a Bandit. Come here, Bandit. Oh my God. He's not being very. Come here. He's hyper right now, but at least he'll wear out. He's running back. He'll wear out soon and pass out. So, hey Jenny. Yeah, I do believe that. I was disappointed by the behavioral panel and Dr. Phil. I couldn't believe that their feelings on the case. Mind blowing when he declared Summer was badly abused by these two. I've been feeling weepy. Yeah. Someone said the youngest brother pushed her down the stairs of dawn, buried her ass for proof. Probably, it sounds like something maybe Green Eyes would say or something. I don't. Actually, I believe Green Eyes really, at least, what the heck is my daughter doing? What the hell?
Will have plot holes. So imagine the plot holes and inconsistencies a story will have if two amateur, low IQ drug addicts come up with it on the spot. It's probably going to have a lot of plot holes, and we're about to pick them all apart right here together.
And
also, you might know something different about me in today's video. I got a haircut, but I'm also wearing my new hat. It says "Stay True," and it's got the little DD badge. So let me know if you guys like it. All right, here we go.
we went in after we got done washing our hands, and she got a piece of candy from Grandma, and she wanted to go back over and see her brothers. And I said, okay. And I walked her all the way over to the porch, and I watched her walk into the kitchen where the boys were watching TV. And I told the boys, I said, watch Summer, I'll be back. And within 2 minutes, I came back. And I asked the boys where their sister was, and they said, she went downstairs, Mom.
Already, this is the money shot. Like I said, this is the most important part of the story. If Summer were actually kidnapped, you would expect Candace to be racking her brains right now. Did I see anyone come up the path? Did the dogs bark? Did my mother say anything? Did we hear any weird noises? Did I hear a car along the road?
Yep, I know that's what I definitely would be doing. I know it's easy to say, it's easy for us to say, oh, I wouldn't do that, or I would do this, or I would do that. But I know for a fact I would be going through every possibility in my head. Like, it would drive me crazy. I would be like, okay, just constantly thinking, like, did somebody come up here? Like, I'd be looking for evidence. Like, it drive me crazy. So, and for them to think abduction when they're all the way up on that hill, when nobody's around, like, that doesn't even make sense. He did, vet girl, I agree. I mean, Candace herself said before she even agreed to do the show that she wouldn't be interrogated. So they knew they had to try to keep her there for the show. Yeah, exactly. And people always point out how she cries at the when he brings up the cornbread mafia or whatever it's called. The chicken head mafia. Oh no. I better be quiet. I'm gonna get them after me. They're gonna be like, how dare you talk about our chicken head mafia? My apologies. My daughter decided to walk home and not take her bus. Oh my god, my freaking heart. I know I've had those moments, Rhiannon, like once or twice before where, you know, for like a minute or for a couple minutes you're like, oh my god, where's my daughter? Oh my god, you know? Because if I can't find her within like that's like never really happened, but like maybe once or twice for where I couldn't find her as soon as I felt like I should and I was freaking out, you know? It's always such an overprotective parent. I freak out when my kids don't respond to her messages for over 5 minutes. Oh, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure Jody Sue is the head of the chicken head mafia. Oh man.
Did I see Summer turned left or right when she got in the house to go to the staircase or to go into the kitchen?
Right. Exactly.
But none of these things are occurring to her to say because, in my opinion, this never happened. It has all the hallmarks of a scripted hoax story in that it's
all the hallmarks. All he's like during his video in this. I mean, and I have the link in the description, guys. If you should go watch this yourself for real, or at least give him a like or something. But and a subscribe. But during his whole review, he's just like, he's like says several times about how obvious this is, like that it's so obvious. Like there's huge red flags, bigger red flags in pretty much any case he's ever worked on, I believe he said. Thank you for sharing his channel, Vet Girl. I forgot to pull up my chat. You guys hear my wind chimes that crazy mom got me? When Jim passed away. I don't know if you guys can hear him right now. Couldn't forgive myself for not watching her better. It would kill me. Oh yeah. I would. Yeah, I wouldn't live through it. My daughter's my life. Like, I bet the TBI, FBI think so too. I think that Dr. B thought the same thing, but couldn't say it. Like, he wanted to say it's so obvious. Oh, thank you, Kathy. And thank you I'm glad you checked him out. I thought he was, I like how blunt he is. I like how he just says how it is, and he doesn't care what people think. Like, I think that is super important for us to have people like that, because so many people are afraid to speak the truth on sensitive topics or what they believe is the truth. Because people, it's a sensitive topic. Like, if you accuse somebody of SA, they're labeled as an offender the whole life, even if they end up being cleared, I guess. a lot of people still, they would still carry a stigma around probably the rest of their lives, where some people wouldn't believe that they were actually cleared, that, so I get it, because I try to be extra. I hate when people fall asleep. That's one of my biggest things I hate. Like, I cannot stand when women put, like, they get mad at their ex-boyfriend because he doesn't want her anymore. So they put out these rumors that, oh, he touched my child. That's the like most horrible thing to do to somebody, and disgusting. Just, it makes me so mad. Just like thinking of somebody doing that. I don't know why I'm so passionate about that, but I've always been like that. And parental alienation too, and using kids as a weapon. Shit, like, really gets me. Yeah, Don did admit it. He did. I mean, even though he was 12 when it first started, doesn't matter. It's because, first of all, he was 19 during some of the instances, and she was 7 years younger. Can you imagine at 19, like, being attracted to a 12-year-old? Well, no. How about this? Can you imagine at freaking 60 years old being attracted to a 12-year-old? Yeah, that's Dawn. I mean, he said so himself in my phone call with him. He's so open about it that, like, people, it's like in plain sight that people for some reason don't see it. Like, it's so blatantly obvious. It's his normal life. Candace's too. It's sad, but at least though, hopefully, at least the boys though now have a chance, to have a normal life. At least because of Summer. At the very least, Summer's brothers have a freaking chance now.
Vague. We were planting flowers. She talks about what she said to the boys, but then she doesn't tell us what she did for those 2 minutes. So she says, watch the boy. She tells the boys to watch Summer. Then she goes and does something, but she doesn't tell us what she did. And then she tells us she came back to the boys. It's almost like a movie script where the camera's focused on the door and you're looking through the door at the boys in the kitchen. When in reality, she's telling it from her perspective. She should be telling us what she did after she told the boys to watch Summer. So it's vague and it's reticent in that Summer went missing at some point. She's telling us all these details about planting flowers and her grandma giving her a candy. I want to hear about any noises she heard, what happened that made her suspect Summer was missing.
Right,
Mom can
Nene?
play with her toys
Exactly.
I said, okay.
So listen again. All right, let's just back up.
I said, okay.
She says that she left, she came back, but she doesn't tell us what she did when she left.
In TV. And I told the boys, I said, watch Summer. I'll be back. And within 2 minutes, I came back.
Okay, so watch Summer. I'll be back. Within 2 minutes, I came back. What did she do during those 2 minutes? If she's telling us what she was doing, you would expect her to say, I told the boys, watch Summer. I'll be back. I went back to help my mom pack up all the gardening tools, and then I came back. But she tells this almost like someone told her script, almost like Don sat down with her and came up with a script. It reminds me a lot of the Kate and Jerry McCann scripted story.
Almost like her and Don sat down and came up with a script. Right when he said that, while I was watching Premiere, I was like, that's exactly what they did.
They also came up with a scripted story to push their hoax. And here, if just listen to how bizarre that is. I told the boys to watch Summer, and then I came back 2 minutes later. She should be telling us what she did during those 2 minutes if this actually happened to her. I went to go pack up the gardening tools. I looked out at the road. I saw a car on the road. Or I looked out the road. I didn't see anything. But those 2 minutes are just missing. kind of like a movie script when one character goes off screen and you're still watching the other characters. That's not how you tell a story about yourself if you're the character who walked off screen. I hope that's making sense, just how bizarre this is. And I'm surprised more people are not pointing this out. After I made my first Summer Wells video, I had lots of comments of people telling me, that they're so glad to have me looking at this. To me, this looks like a laydown. I'm very surprised that I'm one of the few people with training in this stuff who is seeing how obvious this is. It's very concerning, actually.
Watching TV.
So he talks about in this video at some point what he means by lay down. If I remember correctly, and I don't know, does anybody remember how he described it? I think it's like basically a slam dunk, like just like a very obvious, that it's very obvious or something. Is that what he means? We have Be Real, but we haven't had very many. We haven't had very many experts besides like behavioral panel. We have had some. We have, but it's not been. It could be better. Right? Do you need a babysitter for 2 minutes at your own home? Right? Think a lot of. How are you doing, Smokey? How's your pregnancy coming along? She's going to have a baby soon. But between the behavioral panel and then Dawn and Candace just kept talking so much, and the public kind of became, I don't know, desensitized. Yes. Lots of desensitization going on in this bee. Well, we need to appeal to which one of the three. I think that, I don't know, which one do you think of the three, Grandis, Candace, and Dawn, that we could appeal to their empathetic sides? I laugh because I know you guys are going to be like, what empathetic sides? Who do you think out of the three, though, would be the most capable of folding if I think that I was watching today. How about this? I sent this over to actually to Ryan because I wanted Ryan to see this. Hold on. It's here. I'll play this while I'm trying to pull it up.
And I told the boys, I said, watch Summer. I'll be back. And within 2 minutes, I came back.
Watch Summer. I'll be back. Within 2 minutes, I came back. Also, if you pre-order the Deception deck, stuff like that, like within 2 minutes, I came back, is going to be one of the cards. I'm working on Deception deck now, so hopefully ship according to the time I have on the website right now. So if you haven't pre-ordered, it's 20% off right now during the pre-sale at deceptiondeck.com. But that is called a temporal lacunae, when someone skips over time. I told the boys to watch Summer. Bump, 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 beep, beep, beep. Within 2 minutes, I came back. It's skipping over 2 minutes. Why? I want to know what happened during those 2 minutes. So when someone says like next or suddenly or around that time or after that, any word that indicates a jump over time, and let's say someone does that to you in your own personal life, where were you yesterday? Why did you come home late? Well, I was at work. After I got in my car, well, you let them say it and then come back to that. What do you mean after? You were at work and then after what? What happened, right? So when someone uses a temporal lacunae, let them continue talking, let them lock in their timeline, and then circle back and figure out what they skipped over now that you've locked them into a timeline.
So I found the clip that I wanted to show you guys real quick. It's from AB's today. It was a call between Ernie, and we've heard it before. Many of us have. maybe some of you guys haven't, but this was very interesting. You know, this is also, this call was interesting, and it's one of the reasons why many people say Ernie was the absolute closest one to get Candace to telling on herself or tell what she knows. It's true, because and it has to be, she gets so, any man that will just show her any type of attention, she'll fall in love with you. Probably even maybe even a female too, but with me, she really fell for Benny and Ernie big time. And they almost like had a fight over her. It was pretty entertaining, actually. Them fighting over Dawn Wells' wife and the mother of missing Summer Wells. All right, listen to this, guys.
Fuck about nobody but himself.
Let me ask you a question. When is your time? When you going to tell everybody what happened?
Man, okay, look. Give me 2 days, and me and you are gonna go live, and we're gonna talk. Give me 2 days.
I'll give you 2 days. I need to rest anyways.
Give me 2 days. Yeah, you need to after I see what happened.
Well, you be good. Get out of here. Go get rest. 2 days.
2 days, bro.
2 days. Well, I'm giving you 2 days, and we'll go live. 2 days. I'm scheduling it right now. What do you want me to say?
Just talk. Hey, Ernie. Just talk. Don't show your face. I know, show my face. Look. Hey, Ernie. I'm telling you right now. Quit fucking with her.
She called me. Let me ask you a question. When is your time? When you going to tell everybody what happened?
Man, okay, look. Give me 2 days, and me and you are gonna go live, and we're gonna talk. Give me 2 days.
I'll give you 2 days. I need to rest anyways.
Give me 2 days. Yeah, you need to after I see what happened.
Well, you be good. Get out of here.
So, what do you guys think of that? What were you going to tell everybody, Candace? And how come that suddenly changed? The 15th of April 2022 never happened. Is that when it was supposed to be? So that was AB's. Here, I'll put his link in chat. No, I'm not an Ernie fan either, but he did. I wish he would have played it a little bit smarter, though, because he could have, I feel like he could have got some answers, possibly. That never made any sense. What would possibly change in 2 days? That was like what, a year into Summer's disappearance, right? Who would say, give me 2 days and I'll tell you what happened if you knew nothing? Even as desperate, infatuated, lusty, gross female. Yes. It's almost like she wanted Ernie to be love or like her, or she was just, I don't know, that she was so willing to. That just shows me that it's bugging her, that she will crack if they actually freaking pressure her and separate her from Dawn. All she's going to say, though, all she has to say is, oh, I want a lawyer, you know. Oh yeah, that part too. When she starts talking about the money part was more disturbing. Like, what money? I don't care about the money. I just want my daughter back. What money? Yeah, where the hell did that come from? Good point. Let's go back to that real quick because it's right after that where we were just at, where she starts talking about money out of nowhere.
2 days. Well, I'm giving you 2 days, and we'll go live.
Hey, Ernie, just talk. Don't show your face. I know, show my face. Look, hey, Ernie, I'm telling you right now, quit fucking with her.
She called me. She called me. She called me.
Well, all right. Well, if she called you, that's only because, like, you know, she's pissed that everybody keeps on fucking doing what the fuck they're doing. They're like making up fucking bullshit, and it's bullshit, man. You don't make up fucking shit, fucking back your fucking ass up. You know, it's like, come on. It gets old, and it's frustrating, and it's bullshit.
Okay,
I'm just telling you right now, man.
Here.
It's fucking bullshit. And I don't give a fuck what nobody thinks. If it's your fucking daughter and your daughter was motherfucking missing, you wouldn't want a bunch of people making up fucking bullshit about you.
No, but my ass will be out there trying to find and do everything they can to do it.
Yeah, well, look. You know, they've told her she can and she can't do it.
Who said that?
That's what people don't fucking everybody has said that. Hawkins County said you can't go do this, you can't do this. You need to fucking listen. It ain't as easy as like getting up and fucking going out. You don't know what the fuck Dawn did.
I know Dawn's responsible. I know Dawn's responsible.
Well, how do you know? You know that for a fucking fact?
Do you not know it for a fact?
No, I don't know it for a fact, but my suspicions are, and we've talked about that. But I don't. But hounding her is not getting.
I'm not hounding her. I left. She called me. Sorry.
I did call him. All right. Well, if Candace, I'm gonna kick your fucking ass. I did call him. I'm not she's just upset with everything that's fucking.
Who is this girl that's talking? Do you guys know? I thought it was right after that where she starts talking about money out of nowhere. It was very strange. She's like, I don't even care about the money. Like, what the hell are you even talking about? And Candace, how do you feel that an innocent man, like, for example, like Fred, or there's others, but I know Fred's innocent, so I'm just going to speak for Fred. That's it. But how do you feel that he's getting accused for things? You don't care that his life's in danger because of your guys' bullshit freaking lies? You could end everything now and tell us where Summer is. And you could protect future kids as well because of who is involved in all this, who I believe is all involved. These people, it's not going. I believe what happened to her is probably not going to be the first, wasn't the first, and it's not going to be the last child. So, who, with the people that were involved in all this, there's probably been a child since, probably one that we've even talked about. Ernie might have got information if Benny would have let him be. Yeah, I know. But Benny was so jealous. But Benny, that's just like, I don't get that. It's not just Benny. There's a lot of people on this app that are so freaking jealous when it's so easy to make your own content and just contact. There's so many people to question and talk to from this case that we still haven't even really talked to. I mean, there's still some that I would love to talk to. A few of them are trying to kind of hide, but I'd like to talk to them.
Going on, and she's tired of it.
I know what everything's already been. I don't.
She doesn't know what happened with Dawn. We've already discussed
I
this.
don't know where the fuck he's
Listen,
been and what the fuck he's done.
her and I, stop, Candace, please, baby.
No,
Her and I have already discussed this, okay? What if? What if? Okay? What if? And, look, now reality is like,
He said
it eats at her. And that's just what she said, it eats at her. Because she don't know. And
I believe her, and I've always said,
Candace is then.
no.
yeah, I mean, happened.
It doesn't matter. I'm talking about one of his fucking cocaine binges. What if they followed him home and fucking found out where he lived? You know what I'm saying? And then fucking did whatever they fucking did. You know?
You guys hear that? What if on one of his cocaine binges, one of them followed him home? Who's the one of them? Playboy? Has Cameron ever talked to one? That's another yeah, but see, I haven't contacted. I'll contact him, or I'll try contacting him once he hits 18, but I haven't. I found him on social media, but I haven't ever messaged him. I haven't ever messaged anybody under 18 because it just causes too many problems. Like even if the parents say it's okay, but anyways, I would like to talk to him if he's 18 now. He should be getting 18. Same thing as age. He should be getting close to 18, but we know that he's been lying. He's just going to probably come on and just tell a whole bunch of lies, but he'll probably slip and maybe we'll get some clues. That's possible, RJ. It could be something like that.
It's frustrating no one did that to them here. I think this early on in the case, they had a rough script for their story, but they didn't have it totally nailed down.
No, they didn't have it totally nailed down. That's why they told 911 why Dawn, and I know it was Dawn that called saying this because of how the dispatch operator repeats back, Mom went for a walk, and he got the age wrong, 4-year-old Summer. So he was asking during his premiere when he was in the chat, Deception Detective, if for the 911 calls, I think that was, but yeah, he was asking, I think he was asking about the 911 calls because we were talking about it in his chat, me and some others, and I mentioned that the dispatch call is out there, but no, not the 911 call. In fact, Hawkins County has revamped their whole system now where you can't get any 911 calls on Broadcastify or anything anymore. They had, there's never been any type of audio of the 911 call released. We just know what the dispatcher said. She was repeating what she was told when she states the mother went for a walk. She had to have got that information from somebody. It was a person who called. If it wasn't the mother, then it must have been Dawn.
And in the McCanns, I think a similar thing happened. Early on in the case, they would not even answer questions about what happened that day because they said it could affect the investigation, which is nonsense. But then later, in later interviews, the McCanns were much more comfortable about saying what happened when Kate checked the room and discovered Madeline was missing. because they had time to script their story out, to get their story straight, to lock in the details they wanted to go with. And then the sign of a scripted story is that those details in that story did not change over the course of years. There was no reminiscence effect. And I've got 2 videos about scripted stories, so I'm not going to belabor the point here. But already this looks to me like a deceptive story because we have a temporal lacuna. She's not telling us what happened during those 2 minutes. And it looks scripted in that it's very vanilla and it's very vague.
And I asked the boys where their sister was, and they said, she went downstairs, Mom, to play with her toys in the playroom. I said, okay. And I yelled downstairs for her a couple times, and I didn't get no answer, which was unusual because usually she always answers me. And so I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight. She was just gone. I don't go on walks around here or runs because I'm scared of the bears and snakes.
All right. So I have not even watched this far in. She said she's scared of bears and snakes. How does she not know that a bear didn't take Summer away? Why is that not a real possibility? Why?
Exactly. Good observation. Very good observation. Exactly. If she's scared of these animals, then why doesn't she think that Summer could have been taken by a bear? Oh, because she didn't scream or you didn't hear any commotion? Well, you didn't hear any commotion when, wouldn't there be commotion with an abduction too? And possibly a scream? Oh, like the scream Jody Sue claims that she wanted to cause all kinds of confusion and help the parents out and say there was a scream because she knows what really happened. Allegedly. Jody Sue, why don't you save your ass just like you did for the 2013 drug bust where you snitched on half the fucking town? And why don't you be a hero, since you want to be a hero and famous so bad, and go tell what you know about Summer and what you know about Andy Bernard and his involvement, allegedly. Just think of how much attention you would get.
Why is she certain Summer was kidnapped? That's the big question. When someone comes up with a hoax, the first step is to recognize that you're being hoaxed. The second step is to recognize why the hoax. In my first Summer Wells video, where I looked at the 10 weirdest statements that Don Wells made, when I knew very, very little about this case, I was noting all the instances of him talking about Summer being dead. Whenever he mentioned Summer, he mentioned, it killed her when I said mean things to her, or she loved me to death. In those death references, could have been leakage. So could have been him accidentally leaking that she's dead. So accidentally revealing that he knows she's dead. Or I considered after I listened back to the video, it could be him pushing a narrative, him pushing the idea that she's dead, in which case he could be hoaxing that she's dead. The hoax could be that she's dead. If that's the narrative he's pushing, it means that she might still be alive. And in that first video, I left open the possibility that he might have traded her for drugs or sold her for drugs or favors to someone who he's afraid to turn on, or he's just too loyal to turn on. So someone he's more loyal to than his own children. And he doesn't seem like he's very loyal to his children.
Yeah.
These parents are very different than all the other parents we've looked at on the channel. So at this point, all possibilities are open until I learn more about the narrative that Dawn is pushing. Because right now, Candace is pushing a kidnapping narrative. She just said there's bears on the property. Why is a bear taking Summer out of the question? Why did it have to be a kidnapping?
Mm-hmm.
And even the coyotes that are around here.
The coyotes.
All right, now she's saying there's also coyotes. Why could a coyote not have dragged Summer off? Why is that off the table for her? It's only 2 weeks into the search. Why is that off the table? That's what's so strange about this.
It's
If you look at the parents I've analyzed,
another thing, Deception Detective, if you hear this, not only is it 2 weeks into the search, this is the very first time that Candace decided to talk to anybody concerning her daughter being missing. And she also did not talk to law enforcement the day that Summer went missing. She was hiding out in the house like the coward she is, probably because Dawn told her to go in there and act all upset and like too upset to talk to police. Nobody's going to be inside their after something like that, you're going to be looking everywhere. You're going to lose your voice because you're going to be screaming so much for, her name. If she's scared of these animals, then why does she go in the woods? Fishing and camping, sleeping beside a tree, period. She can't be scared of those animals or she wouldn't be out there. Yeah. Which one do you think's a misunderstanding? Sending love to you all. So glad to be here. Yeah, it's good to see you, Chloe.
Whose children actually went missing, they considered every possibility. If a kidnapper took them, please return my kid. If the kid ran away, please come home. We're looking for you. Just find anyone and tell them who you are so you can come home. If they wandered off, if they fell into a river, they left every possibility open because they did not know what happened. When people narrow in on a narrative this early in investigation, you should be on alert that you might be getting manipulated. You might be in the middle of someone trying to hoax you.
Thank you for the anonymous catch app. Y'all, if you had 11 acres of property, why would you look for 20 minutes in dang basement under mattress? That's not normal. Exactly.
Well, whoever has my daughter, I pray and hope that they have not harmed her.
Right here. So in the same sentence that she talks about bears and coyotes on the property, she says, whoever has my daughter. Certain that someone has her daughter.
Wix is your platform to perform on.
Remember, these 4 signs of a hoax. Conclusiveness. She is conclusive that her daughter has been kidnapped. She didn't say, for example, there's coyotes and bears on the property, so I'm worried that might have happened to her. Or if someone took my daughter, if you have her, please return her. I'll pay you whatever you want. Or look into your heart and just please return Summer. That's not what we see here. So even if she actually believes, so let's say there was actually evidence that someone was kidnapped, she's not acting like the parent of the kid who's kidnapped.
And they bring her back to us safe and sound.
Just go to the FBI, the police, and clear it up. I don't know. It seems kind of elusive.
It's really strange that
I can't wait till he goes over the interviews where Don's asked what he thinks should happen to the people if or when they're arrested. When and if they're arrested, what does he think should happen? Oh, I don't know. It depends. Like, I just don't wish jail on anybody. What the fuck? Not even somebody who stole your daughter and possibly, violated her? Are you freaking serious? What? Because how does anybody think that's normal? That is not something a parent would say. Any parent would say. Nobody would say that. A person that says that is a man who has no empathy. He's completely desensitized to what's normal. He has a skewed worldview, bad. It's because he was introduced very early on in his life, I believe. And when that's how he talks too, he has to very inappropriate things that he probably shouldn't have been introduced to. And yeah. So was Candace. And so all this weird stuff is normal to them. When my daughter was missing, I was the world's largest pain in the ass. Lived at the police station. Oh my God. I'm sorry that you had to go through that. That's horrible. I love your bike. The chameleon paint. But that's horrible. But yeah, I believe that's probably what I would be doing too. I would lose my voice, I think, from screaming so much. Like if it was outside like that, and I don't care if I was making a fool of myself. Like I don't think of that stuff when I'm upset. And I'm definitely not going to think of that stuff or worry about what people think of me when my daughter's missing. I'm definitely not going to be hiding, even though, listen, I'm like one of the biggest introverts homebodies ever. I hate like leaving the house, really. I for the most, I don't know about hate leaving the house. I like being home. I love being home. And, so, I get it, being an introvert and stuff, and also being shy, but come on, when your daughter's missing, you don't think of that stuff. It's kind of like when you're on the table giving birth to your child, you don't think that, all these people, right? You're not embarrassed by the fact that you're, crotch open to the wind. You know what I mean? You don't think of that stuff because why? Because you are very distracted and don't care. That's a weird analogy, but that's what I was thinking. That's something that I was thinking of. Like I didn't care. I always thought I would be embarrassed. You know what I mean? But but that's one of the things I learned after I had a child. You don't think about that kind of stuff. The last time I left the house was Thanksgiving. I mean, I get out and walk and stuff. But I know, right? Burrs me too. You think it's a good analogy? I don't know. It's a weird one, but it's the same concept. And labor, I was like, get this thing out of me. Yeah, I was afraid that I was going to be like so embarrassed. Like, I remember just, being terrified of having to be in that position. I thought it'd be embarrassing. I did not freaking care. Oops. The natural childbirth, I think they were selling tickets, but I didn't care. Oh my God. It was in my daughter's name. What's that? Let me scroll back and see what you were talking about. I built that bike and we donated it for child abuse auction. Oh, that's awesome. So your daughter's back home? How long was your daughter missing? When her son was born, all the delivery rooms were occupied. Hospital was remodeling. I wondered why people were coming and going. I was in area they used for storage. I didn't care, but it was odd. Oh my God. Bandit. Oh, jeez. He sounds like a gremlin, doesn't he? Like, I don't know what gremlins sound like, but that's what I think they sound like. Oh, you did? You found Ziggy? Oh, yeah, that's right, Nanya. I saw you in his chat this evening. Bandit, come here. Bandit. Oh my gosh, here we go. Let's listen since we can't.
I've never seen this truck, and I've never heard of it until just recently.
All right, so apparently they're talking about some truck that was on the property. So, okay, all right, if a truck has been mentioned being on the property, now we have a little bit of an idea of why they might be considering that someone took Summer.
Well, yeah, he doesn't know. He doesn't know what the truck situation's about because he's very new to this case. But they didn't know about a truck like the first day, did they? How long did they? And this truck, it's at this time. I don't even know how relevant the truck is really. People don't really pay attention much to it anymore, except the fact that Jody Sue has a truck. Jody Sue's mom has a truck that exactly like the descriptors that had the ladder bed and all that stuff on it. That suddenly was the ladder racks and stuff were taken off after Summer went missing for some odd reason. I couldn't imagine why. And supposedly, according to Fred, Jody Sue stated, well, how are they going to find the red truck if they take their ladder racks off?
But the conclusiveness about it still does not make sense because they're not even entertaining the possibility of a bear or a coyote, things that they brought up themselves.
But I wish they would come forward and explain themselves. And if you're not a suspect, at least come forward and say what you've seen. She was a tomboy. I shaved my head. She wanted to have her head shaved like.
All right. I've seen some posts about this, and I actually saw when I was researching this yesterday, a video that Peter Hyatt did saying that Summer's head was shaved. So she had a shaved head the day she went missing. And I talked about this in the live chat on my last video. So let's listen to what they say about that. And I'll explain to you what a shaved head means on a potentially abused kid. And it is it's not easy to hear. It's probably the sickest thing I will have discussed on the channel to date. All right. And stuff like this is the reason I avoided true crime for a year. Because we're not just looking at how to spot liars here. We're actually looking at how to spot very, very scary lies, life and death lies.
And if you're not a suspect, at least come forward and say what you've seen.
So as you listen, consider why Summer's head would have been shaved. Why would you shave a 5-year-old girl's head?
She was a tomboy. I shaved my head. She wanted to have her head shaved like me and the boys did.
All right, so Candace is saying that Summer wanted her head shaved because she's a tomboy, right? So she asked for it.
She tried to shave her head
She tried
in
to
the
shave her
back
head
and make
herself.
it. I think you can see it in some of the pictures, and it was getting out of control. So we decided to shave her head off and let it grow back long, and she shaved her head so she wouldn't feel bad.
All right. This is how you know these are not sophisticated liars, which is why I'm so surprised that they haven't been called out yet. I don't know why other analysts of big channels haven't called these people out yet. Based on the comments I've seen, I've not actually watched the behavior panel video about them. According to the comments, people are telling me they went easy on these people. They said Summer asked to have her head shaved. Don just said Candace shaved her head so Summer wouldn't feel bad about it. And you can actually see him stuttering and self-interrupting because he knows he just screwed up that cover story. So notice how he catches himself. They said Summer asked to have her head shaved. Then Don, a very likely very low IQ. These are low IQ people. Low IQ immediately screws up that cover story by saying that Candace got her head shaved so Summer wouldn't feel bad. So if Summer asked to have her head shaved, there's no reason she should feel bad about having her head shaved. So we've already been trapped in a lie.
That's a good
and
point.
we're 2 minutes into the
That
issue.
was a weird thing that Don said that we've noticed, when he acted, when he screwed up in his story because he screwed up and said, oh, we didn't want her to feel bad. It's like, what? Well, why would she feel bad if she wanted her hair like that? Great point.
Yeah. So if Summer did not ask to have her head shaved, why do you shave a little girl's head in a house where I believe she was being abused by her father? Why would they shave her head? Why would Candace shave Summer's head? Ask yourself that. And I know that I and the people on my channel people who follow me are normal people, right? Well-adjusted people. So the answer might not jump out at you, and I'm going to give you the answer, but just see if you can come up with it yourself and put yourself into the headspace, because that is the only way to catch people like this. You have to consider things that are so beyond your view of the world, to figure out why certain things happen in these situations.
To shave her head
She tried
in
to
the
shave her
back
head
and make
herself.
it.
So they're claiming she tried to save her head herself. Now listen to what Don says. Listen to how quickly he screws up and how he stutters and tries to self-correct.
I think you can see it in some of the pictures, and it was getting out of control. So we decided to shave her head off and let it grow back long, and she shaved her head so she wouldn't feel bad.
So he screwed up and he knows it. He just stuttered and tried to self-correct. That's why I would love to be able to depose them. I would love to have them in a situation where I could have my way with them, have them under oath, so that if they lied to me, I can pin them down on it and actually punish them for telling me lies. But like everybody who's seen my channel knows or in the comments, people are just too smart to do a one-on-one with me.
Yeah, they do need to.
If they know I'm going to go out to get them.
And but it didn't bother her at this point. Well, I knew right away that she was abducted. You know.
All right, so more conclusiveness. I knew right away that she was abducted. How could you know that? How could you know she was abducted? Same with the McCanns. Kate says, I went into the bedroom. I knew right away she was abducted. How do you know that? How do you know they didn't wander off? The conclusiveness is a sign of a hoax, as I always say. When people are this conclusive, you need to be on red alert that they are trying to fool you. And apparently they have fooled people. And I think the reason they fooled people is because, so this is important. I think the reason that people didn't suspect the McCanns, for example, or if they did suspect the McCanns, they didn't want to speak about it, is because no one likes to accuse the parents of doing something to their kid. Because if you're wrong, it looks really bad. And I've actually had people comment on my videos. DD, how dare you accuse these parents? You don't know what happened for sure. What if you're wrong, DD? I don't come to my conclusions lightly, first of all. And secondly, if I'm wrong, if I'm proven wrong, I'll own it. But the other thing is people can be shamed into backing off their opinions. And I think that's what those comments tried to do. And I'll show you an example.
Angel Soft toilet paper is strong.
For example, I got this comment a little while ago. And I feel like comments like this, and I'm going to read it in a second here if you're listening on podcast mode, comments like this, I believe, scare off other analysts because they can be shamed into backing off their opinion.
See?
Or they have big sponsors. And so they're scared of losing their sponsors by saying something that's politically insensitive. On my channel, I sell my own products. I sell my own merch. If you want to support the channel by buying Deception Deck, or if you want to get a hat like I have here, let me know and I'll put it on deceptiondeck.com. I'm supported by my viewers, by the members, by the ad revenue my videos get when you guys watch them and share them. And I thank you for that. But other people can be scared off their opinions by sponsors. They can be scared off their opinions by being ashamed, or they can be blackmailed, right?
See, this is a guy that if you guys are in a position, come here, Bandit. I wish they would stop. I can get tired. This is who I believe people. Well, I shouldn't try to sway people's opinion, but I mean, people like this that are trying to be honest, and it's true. Like when you start getting sponsors and stuff, or using sponsors, and you start your name starts getting more well known and stuff, you're more pressure you're more pressure to change your opinion. Like, but if you just are independent, if you're independent like this guy, completely, he tries to keep himself separate from and not do panels from other creators and stuff, just so he makes sure his opinion is his opinion and he doesn't put his opinion on anybody else and get anybody else any shit. He explained it in this live. And, you know, like he says, he's supported by his viewers and subscribers and stuff. He doesn't take sponsorships and that kind of stuff like the behavioral panel. So he doesn't have the pressure, you know, because it's a lot of pressure. But yeah, I'd rather have my integrity. But I get it. A lot of other people, most people cave. From what I've seen. Justin was here, Sherry, but good to see you. Thank you for sharing his channel. Let's see, what was the question? There was a question I was gonna. More high IQ folks in Hawkins. Even the cops are coming. I also noticed Cher has become a Mary. What's that mean? FA. I mean, I don't know. That you'd have to have solid proof first, but people say stuff all the time, you know. I wouldn't think you could just like contact the military and be like, oh, there's these rumors about this person. I think this person did that. I mean, if you had proof, yeah, they definitely have a disciplinary board, or they have some type of disciplinary board or something for that kind of stuff. I hear the military is very strict, but I wouldn't waste your time though without any actual solid proof. But that's just my opinion, you know. Even though we can believe, I mean, like I've said, people get mad when I speak on Jody Sue's kids or whatever, and it's not me talking bad about. I've never really suspected her son or anything at all. Like, I know that's been in other people's series. I mean, he is 18 now, at least. He might even be 19. But I do know, yes, he had some bad behaviors, according to Fred and Laura, and would abuse his grandmother. So, but that doesn't mean he had anything to do with Summer's disappearance. I don't believe he's involved. I hope to God that Andy didn't bring his freaking son, get his son involved in such a fucking thing. Sorry for my language, but that would be disgusting.
I don't use my real name, so no one can try to dox me or get personal with me. And if they try, it will be the biggest mistake they've ever made. But here, for example, here's a comment. You're making money out of someone's grief. It's shameful, don't you think? So I think this comment was on my Ramsey's video or McCann video. So someone trying to shut down my opinion that the parents were responsible. Or in the Ramsey's case, my opinion that at the very least the parents covered up their daughter's murder. And they tried to shame me off my opinion. And I feel like that can work on some channels like Behavior Panel. I do believe they are subject to shame because they use their real names. They have sponsors. And here's what I responded. And it applies to that video, as well as this video, as well as any video I've ever made or will make. I only care about two things: the truth and teaching people how to spot it before misinformation becomes too powerful. I can't be shamed, I can't be bought, and I can't be blackmailed. Capiche? So in the case of Summer Wells, I'm going to tell you right now, I think that both of these parents are addicts. I think both of them are low IQ, and I believe both of them abused the hell out of Summer. So when they are able to fool people who interview them, it's because they are manipulative. Every drug addict, every alcoholic, every lowlife is manipulative because that's how they survive. They don't survive on their wit or their industry or their skills or their smarts. They survive at the mercy of others by shaming other people into giving them charity or into being afraid to accuse them just because it'd be so obvious. They live in a trailer in Tennessee and they shave their daughter's head. And in the Don Wells video I watched, he tried to blame Summer's disappearance on his sons. These are lowlives. And lowlives, if their kid goes missing, the truth is likely staring us in the face. Statistically, they did it, or it happened because they were negligent. And I don't feel bad about saying that about them. But I feel like some people would feel bad because it's so obvious, it seems so stereotypical that they restrain themselves from saying what's totally obvious. Well, to me, these parents are not the victims. There's only one victim here, and that's Summer. And people got confused with the McCanns as well. There's only
Yep, only one victim. And I wish people would stop putting it on us YouTubers, or I wish they'd start putting things on actually where the blame where it belongs. Don Wells, we want to have this information to call him out on if we didn't have like a plethora of people come forward with his previous bad behaviors. Pearlstrand says Dee Dee didn't mention it, but hair shaving could be a lazy parent's way of dealing with lice. Also, I wonder about preventing hair drug testing. Right. Exactly that too. But he's very new to the case. Like, I think like literally a week. He took the poll like a week ago, and this is his second video. He probably doesn't even know about the lice theory. So that's what I was saying earlier in my live. Like, I wonder if he could, what he thinks about the possibility of it being lice. Like they maybe were embarrassed to say like that the kids had lice because maybe they feel like that make them neglectful or something, or seem like bad parents. Like, I think that's possible. I believe it totally can be lice. But I also I believe more so it's probably lice, but I can see his theories too. I see why some people think it has to do with jealousy or something. Because I do believe there's some kind of jealousy. I believe that there was something that was causing tension in Dawn and Candace's relationship that involved Summer. And I believe that's why Summer had to go. And it's horrible. These are selfish people, just incredibly selfish. Makes me mad.
one victim in the Madeleine McCann case, and that's Madeline. And when I'm looking for the truth, I'm looking for the truth for the actual victim. And there's a reason that in all the community polls I do, little girls always rise to the top of the poll. Little girls who terrible things happen to. And I think that's because other analysts or the police or the detectives have failed those little girls because they're too scared to accuse the parents. Or the ones who are brave enough to accuse the parents, correctly in my opinion, get pushed off the case by politicians or media or other people who are too cowardly to point out the obvious. So if, let's say, Don starts crying here or telling us how hard his life is, I don't care. Right? And that's how you have to go into it. And that's one reason I ignore body language. I ignore all forms of manipulation. All right, so I know that's a bit of a rant, but I feel like in this case, from the comments I've seen, it had to be said.
I agree with a lot of what you guys are saying about I do agree with what you guys are saying too. It makes me second guess the lice thing. The boys' heads weren't shaved. Also, the shaving it right down to the scalp. Like, why that short? I mean, even you don't need it that down to the scalp for lice. You could easily, they come with those kids come with those lice pick things, and they could have left her some hair. Yeah, it's like they didn't want hair follicles. Would they do? Shave her whole body? Oh my freaking God, dude. I don't even want to think about it. I know. That's a good point. Yeah, mom and dad's weren't shaved down to the scalp. Good point. Good point. See, that's what I mean when my opinion is constantly changing, or my theories, or because I think of you guys bring up these good points, and it just makes me think, well, that's it, very true. Down, why did they have to shave it down to the freaking scalp? Really? Yeah, Summer slept with them. Uh-huh. I know. See, that's what Marissa, that's the problem that's happening. Is so many people are getting so frustrated that they're just giving up. But at the same time too, we have people it's just making people more angry. And so I am afraid though that it's going to die off somehow because of nothing progressing. And I don't know if that's what they're hoping. Whoever's is like keeping this from moving forward, or I know he should not get his retirement. That shit pisses me off. God, that situation makes me so mad, dude. That was so not right. The whole Brandon Lawson whole situation. And that's another thing this guy doesn't know too. Doesn't have he's clear. It's good though that he doesn't know all these details, because he's strictly going off of their comments. He doesn't have any bias. He doesn't have any other details. He doesn't know about the shady freaking sheriff and stuff like that. I mean, maybe he is starting to learn, but he doesn't know like we do. So, yeah, I believe Ronnie Lawson should not be getting his retirement at all. I believe that should be his, because, I mean, I know that's harsh, but you don't get to like, oh, well, I'll do this shady shit because I only have a year till my retirement anyways, so might as well. And then I'll still get my retirement, and no, that's not okay. That is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know. That's crazy. I don't know, Janine. I guess couldn't they use wigs though, even if her hair's longer though? Yeah, when the sheriff's department blocks you because you constantly share Summer's missing info, I think what it is he's on to them. That Trev time is on to them and exposing Hawkins County and Ronnie Lawson for trying to hide Brandon Lawson's charges of rape, a statutory rape by an authority figure. But that was what the original charges were supposed to be, but got lowered all the way down to attempted. How the hell is that fucking attempted, Ronnie? We read all the details in the documents. I'm telling you, there's something that is not legal. I know people think it is because it's a plea agreement. No, it's not legal to be able to call it attempted when it wasn't fucking attempted. They did the crime. He did the crime. Oh, that makes me so mad. Because they think people are just gonna forget about it. And that he'll just get to retire here in a few months. And, you know, get his retirement and everything's gonna just work out just fine. Everybody will forget about it. You guys need to stop. They're always chewing up my, somehow getting my lip glosses. Deception detectives say he's going to be making a video about reasons why parents shave their kids' heads. Definitely looking forward to it. Was Brandon a sheriff's deputy? No, but no, he actually talked about how he had been using meth just a couple weeks prior to writing out his statement on October 12th or 13th of 2022. Everything done within 24 hours, like everything. The court, everything was handled on within 24 hours for that case. Absolutely unreal. I hope that Trev Time like keeps like. I hope there's people that are as huge as I am, so that maybe something can be done, because that is not okay. In the swimming video and car video, her hair was a few inches long. Really? Fred doesn't speak about ever crossing paths with him. I have asked him, how was he an authority figure? Because he was the parent. He was the parent of the child. It was his daughter, Ginger Snap, his adopted daughter. So that made him an authority figure. So he adopted her when she was like a few years old. Brandon did, Lawson. And then, yeah, started playing freaking weird games trying to teach her about sex. It was freaking, it's weird and disgusting. Basically, he knew this girl since she was like 2 or something. Basically like his own daughter, and he's a real weirdo. And another girl too, yeah, her best friend. Brandon Lawson's daughter's best friend too. Or one of her friends.
These parents, in my opinion, are clearly guilty. This is almost the biggest laydown case I've seen. And in my opinion, the Nicola Bully case is also a laydown. It looks like a woman who killed herself or had an accident in a river, and I posted as much on X. So maybe I'll do a post about this on YouTube about the Nicola Bully case. But regarding Nicola Bully, it looks like someone who fell into the water and got her foot or a piece of clothing or hand trapped between 2 rocks and just got drowned that way. And that can happen in very gentle currents. You don't need white water tides. And I know that's a possibility because I used to go whitewater rafting all the time. And the number one rule is if you fall out of the boat, do not try to stand up, because if there's a rocky bed and something gets trapped between the rocks, you can get held down under the water. All it takes is a minute. And all it takes is one article of clothing or one appendage or one limb to just get trapped under something, and you can drown. You don't need very deep water. You don't need very heavy rapids. Okay, so to me, this looks like a laydown. The only part I'm curious about is what actually happened this summer. The parents to me are guilty. Now I just want to know how guilty and what happened to her.
Oh, I knew that right away, and that's what I told them from the beginning. But they have to go through their, I forget the word.
Investigation.
They have to do one step at a time, I guess. But I'm sorry that they had to spend so many man hours in these woods and everything. I've seen them limping and everything else.
So now he's apologizing to the police who are looking for his daughter. That's bizarre.
No, and I feel for him. But
in fact, this is also in the deception deck. This might be ingratiation. where he's being very complimentary and nice to the police because he wants them to like him. And this is the sign of a guilty person, usually. In missing persons cases or emergencies, you'd be surprised just how rude the parents are to the police. And it's actually a red flag with 911 dispatchers if someone calls about a missing child and even says something as minute as hello or thank you or please. You'd be surprised. You might think, well, if my kid went missing, of course I'd say, please find my daughter to the police. In real situations where a kid's missing and has been missing for a little while, actual parents of missing children are very impatient with the police because they've not found their kid. And on that 911 call, when in the heat of an emergency, people get very primal in real emergencies. They don't say hello. They say, my kid's missing, help me. They don't say please. They don't say thank you. And
That's another good point. Like, no wonder he wants to hear the 911 call. That is good. You know, even somebody like me who apologizes to, you know, one of those people always kind of a people pleaser. Not so much as bad anymore, but Don's even he's a little bit of a people pleaser because he just wants to seem like he's a good guy. It's part of his manipulation. But, you know, you might be like, you would be freaking out. You wouldn't be see like, I mean, I could say like, oh my God, please help me. Please find my child, you know, something like that, saying please, but you're going to be frantic and you're not going to worry about hurting somebody's feelings or, being rude no, it's going to take precedence. It's going to be more important than anything you've ever experienced, and you do not care. You were a pain in the ass, like Lisa said. She really had a child. How long was your child missing, Lisa? If you don't mind. And Lisa mentioned this earlier before we even got to this part of the video, how she was like, she didn't hide out in her house and stay away from investigators and detectives. No, she was out there like constantly at the station, like, what have you found on my, you know, like, I would be the same way. Hey, Joe Papawick. Saw an app with Don, he feels like when he's around an authority figure or authority situation feels like he is around an authority situation. He was nervous as heck. He was going to be caught. Right, Day Day? Hello, Mr. Policeman. My daughter was kidnapped. Drug high on drugs. Brandy, yeah, Brandy is definitely a good example to use. In my opinion. I mean, as far as how she's like I think she's much more like, her reactions is much more normal. And it's not that we're picking on Dawn and Candace at all. It isn't. I know, but see, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. So my dogs just ripped out my Ethernet cord while I was sitting there apologizing for the growling of my dogs. So I had to connect to the Wi-Fi. I like using an Ethernet cord because it makes the internet like more solid, but the dogs are running back and forth and they tripped over the wire. They're trying to shut you down. Yeah. That's what I was thinking last night when Fred's call just hung up out of nowhere. But he told it was because they were shutting things down for the night. But he told me that they changed, like during Ryan's visit, that day that he was supposed to have a visit with Ryan, he said that they had never done this before, but that day he was supposed to so the thing is, you can only have a visit supposedly when you're on rec. Like when it's hard to explain. Rec means like it's their time they get out of their cell and get to hang out in the day room. And that's also where the machine is where you do your visits at. So they only allow you to have your visits during that time. And it has to be during when you're on rec. So you have to basically communicate with the jail to find out when they're on rec and stuff. Because if you try to schedule on the website, it will let you schedule any time. And you'll show up and they'll be like, oh, sorry, he's not on rec, can't do the visit. Well, the day that Ryan was supposed to see Fred, it was Monday, 10:30 a.m. And Fred was having morning rec that day. But that morning, out of nowhere, they changed his rec to evening rec. Like they changed his whole tiers rec to evening rec instead. It was almost like it was purposely done so that they could give Ryan that excuse. But anyways, I was mean as a snake on a tin roof. I want my kid now to scream, crying, beg. Oh my God. I can imagine. Did anybody see how long Lisa said her child was missing for? I sent you a message on your Facebook. Okay, Tasha, thank you. I think you were talking, I saw the beginning part of your comment about one of Dawn's friends on Facebook. I'll have to definitely check that out. Yeah, they do, but he's almost out of there. But it makes me more nervous. Like his time is up at Hawkins the 10th of this month. But he has to be transferred to Sullivan because of that misdemeanor theft when he stole those boots. He didn't finish the probation. So they violated him. Anyway, so he has to be transferred to take care of that warrant. But as it gets closer and closer to when he's supposed to be transferred, I just get more and more nervous because, like, oh, I just wish they would transfer him already. Even though I'm still going to be nervous about him being in Sullivan, but because it's, like, real close, and also Ronnie Lawson has friends in all these surrounding counties, like Dan Armstrong. And anyways, oh, also Fred says Tony Allen, I guess, is Ronnie Lawson's right-hand man, he says, and is probably going to be the one that gets voted as sheriff, which would be like, because I guess he's good friends with Ronnie, so he's probably in the same circle, if you know what I mean. Oh, thank you, Hawk. Great job, Ziggy. Prayers for answers. Thank you all. Thank you so much. And I know we need to have I know you were trying to talk to me. Sorry, I've been so busy, guys. It's been crazy with having the other YouTube channel too. I'm so behind on what I'm so behind. It's my fault, though. Yeah, the good old boy system continues. Yes, thank you so much, Hawk.
In fact, even something as small as not using a contraction, like for example, I cannot find my kid, is a red flag. Just because when people are that primal in the heat of an emergency, they tend to use contractions. Like, I can't find my kid. Help me, get here now. That's a real emergency. Not, officer, if you have the time, please find my kid. And I'm so sorry it's taking you guys so long to find her. Can I offer you some iced tea? That's a red flag. Don apologizing to the police for looking for his kid and talking about how he feels bad that they're limping is a red flag.
I just wish there was a way that neighbors could search neighbors' houses, and then if they're not willing, you know, get a search warrant or something. But there's just no way you can search every single house, you know, in the eastern United States or whatever. But I wish there was a way. Just thankful for the person or persons that's doing that, you know, out of love. And trying.
Of course, he's going to bring up something that's absolutely impossible to do, like go through everybody's house in the eastern USA. Like, oh, I wish we could go through everybody's house in the eastern USA. Yeah, I wish I could fly too, but that's not going to happen. But just like he's saying, this guy is good. He's bringing up really great things that I've never thought of before. Seriously. I'm actually getting an education watching his content.
Trying to get information and trying to get her found. We thank them from the bottom of our hearts.
That means a lot.
And we thank everybody who's trying so hard and praying so hard. And she's an awesome young lady, and we just want her back. But, yeah, there's always going to be haters, you know, and you know it's always going to be that way in this world. And we just want to focus on the good friends and Christian people that are.
So we have a dog barking in the background. Did they hear a dog barking? Did they someone went missing during those 2 minutes? Those are the type of details you would expect her to be reminiscing about. But we didn't hear anything like that.
Trying to help us and praying for us and praying for Summer. And we thank them from the bottom of our hearts. And that's the kind of people we try to relate with. And so.
Also, notice how he says people praying for us and then praying for Summer. So he and Candace are the priority. Summer is the secondary priority. And we saw this with the Ramseys as well on the 911 call. We found a note and our daughter is gone. And in that case, John Bonet was already dead. That's why she was a secondary priority.
Another great point. Yeah, the parents haven't been in as much of a hurry because they know where she's at. So is Justin still going live at 8? Does anybody know? And thank you so much, Lucy Cat. Thank you for all you do. Well, thank you for being here. Seriously, thank you guys so much. Don, Candace, you sold out, traded her, proved me wrong. I think it's time Channel started to investigate everything about Ellie and Hawkins and make sure they see and hear everything that's unearthed about them. Oh, I love that. I love that Trev is taking it seriously. I really, because it's hard when you're like the only. No, I haven't talked about it for a while, but I love that he's starting to get into it. So because I'm passionate about it too, and that way I could talk about it together. You know, maybe we can make something happen. He's actually got the documents. You know, actually doing actions instead of just talking about it. Trevor is like what? He's like 21 or 20. Can you imagine? He's going to do great things in his life. If I was like that responsible at that age, oh my God. I'd be like the president of the whole world. Trevor Lee is all action. Love that guy. Yeah, sky's the limit for him, for sure. Penelope says, Merry Christmas to everyone. Thank you so much, Penelope. I love your little picture. I'm trying to remember what... Did you used to have a different name, screen name? Because your picture looks familiar. Sid, did I get your email? Yeah. Let me get reminded. Go back and remind myself. I'm trying to remember what these were about, Sid. Let me see. What are these addresses that you sent me? Hold on. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what these are, though. You'll have to email me and tell me what these addresses are. Because I'm curious. I want to know. Now I'm really curious. So I will be reading or going over your email even more because now I'm super curious to know what it means. Okay, Sid, sounds good. You've run your research and you have so much to offer as well. Oh, well, thank you, Leonie. But can you imagine being like that wise at that age is what I'm saying? Like, he's incredibly wise for somebody that young. Incredibly wise and responsible for somebody that young. Aw, love you guys too. The governor of Tennessee is Bill Lee. His email is public. The state should look into what is happening with Lawson and Hawkins County. Yep. And also the DA who signed off on those bullshit freaking that bullshit plea deal that Brandon Lawson got. They need to answer. We should be able to ask questions like, why the hell? How the hell? What was your thought process when you guys did this or you did that? Oh, I'd love to ask them in front of the whole freaking world. These things are supposed to be public for a reason. It's to avoid this type of corruption. Oh, thank you for becoming a member too, Penelope. Thank you.
Here we see Summer as a secondary priority again, another indicator that they might know that Summer is dead. And if you saw my first Summer Wells video, as sad as it is, that might be one of the better outcomes for her, because the other outcome that is possible in this situation is that she was sold, that she was trafficked. And that is a hell I don't even want to consider for a little girl. And that's the sort of stuff that is the reason I didn't do true crime on the channel for so long, because I don't even want to think about it, let alone listen to words about it and detect the truth about that.
Trying to help us and praying for us and praying for Summer. And we thank them from the bottom of our hearts. And that's the kind of people we try to relate with and socialize with. So we don't know anything about, no red truck, or we hardly know many of our neighbors. I mean, because we just try to be around good people. I mean,
I think he's separating himself from his neighbors for a reason. What do you guys think? Hardly even know my neighbors. Well, why would he want to separate himself from his neighbors? Who's one of his closest neighbors? The Bernards. I don't know, just a theory.
And we do have good people in this area. We found.
So let's also listen to the hedging language. We try to be around good people. What does that mean? That means that they don't necessarily consort with good people. It means they try to. Right? If I only hung out with good, reputable people, I'd say we only hang out with good people. I wouldn't say I try to only hang out with good people. And this was another thing I noticed in my first video about Summer Wells, where I believe that Dawn and Candace have friends in very low places, dangerous people, people who might say, hey, give me your daughter or I'll kill you both because you owe me money. Or, all right, you can't afford your fix this week? Give me your daughter, rent her out to me. And then something happens to her. Well, cover it up, not my problem. And if you
see, I'm glad that he has the balls to say these things, even though it's disturbing. Yay! Thank you, Penelope. That's so nice. Thank you so much. I've seen you've been very supportive with Justin too, I think it was. So thank you. Or maybe it was PG. Anyways, thank you very, very much. Now I'm trying to remember what I was just saying here. Making sure I didn't miss any the super chats. Yeah, thank you so much, Penelope. Okay, so yeah, him talking about, oh, we don't hang out with good people. Let me rewind just a second here and see, because I wanted to make a comment about something he said.
give me your daughter or I'll kill you both because you owe me money.
Mm-hmm.
Or, all right, you can't afford your fix this week? Give me your daughter, rent her out to me. And then something happens.
I'm glad he has the balls to say what he feels really happened. Because a lot of people are afraid to say things like that. Because you do get the comments like, oh, you're exploiting, or, you'll get hate, or what if you're wrong? And it's a good point. I get it. And it is something to consider when putting out what you believe happened. But this guy is also educated in this stuff. So I think that his opinion is valuable. And I think that, maybe somebody like me is not, I don't know. We should be able to listen to this guy though, because he's an expert in this. But I'm pretty sure many of us have secretly thought the things that he's saying. What he says there makes sense with the lady of the night phone call you played. Yeah. Speaking of that, I need to play that whole call, like upload the whole thing. If I only played, from that live, it doesn't seem like I played very much of the call unless I uploaded it in a separate video, but I wanted to listen to it and make sure there wasn't anything in it that couldn't be put out. But does anybody know if Justin's still going live in 25 minutes? Actually, let me. Okay, it's 8:30. Okay.
Store. Well, cover it up, not my problem. And if you turn on me, I'll kill both of you and your other kids. So out here in this, things could be happening that would not even occur to us, people who are here watching YouTube videos and have the luxury of watching videos about education and improving our lives, which is why it's so hard to put yourself for me to put myself into the headspace of people like this. but it's the only way to understand the context is to get into their heads. Also, just to touch upon why, because I forgot to do this. Did you figure out why Summer's head was shaved? There's a few reasons. One is it could just be punishment, like we saw in my Ruby Frankie video, where she did sadistic, bizarre punishments to her children. And one of those could include shaving the kid's head in order to humiliate them. The other options are even worse. So the second option is that Candace shaved Summer's head in order to make her less attractive to Dawn because she knows that Dawn abuses her. So she tried to make Summer less attractive in an attempt to spare Summer some abuse until the hair grew back. And it's interesting that they talked about how the hair was shaved in the back first. The third option, which is also sick, and I can't believe I'm saying this, is that Candace shaved Summer's head because she's in competition with Summer for Dawn's attention. So Candace, out of jealousy for the attention that Summer gets, shaved Summer's head. All right, let's see how far. So we're about a third of the way through this video. Let's finish this up in a part 2 on this video. And now let's look at some of the top comments from my last Summer Wells video so we can see what insights my subscribers brought to this case. All right, so here's my last Summer Wells video. Can suspects project their guilt? And we're just going to quickly go through the top comments together so I can highlight stuff that you guys pointed out that rose to the top of the pile. But I also did have one comment of my own that I put in here, so I'm just going to note it since it's something I recognize after I posted the video. So at 31 minutes and 50 seconds.
Well, I said I wasn't going to play his whole video. I mean, I haven't played the whole thing, but a good portion of it. Didn't mean to, but if you guys could go like his video, that would be amazing. Please give him a like. The link is in the description. Jealousy. I do believe there was some kind of jealousy. And that's also why I believe, I don't know, it makes me feel like Candace was aware that he was a predator. Because I think that's why she just always seemed to have a problem with girl, like the gender, even like the dogs, like she wanted only boy dogs. But I mean, girls are the ones that get pregnant. I understand, but they're both cray. So I think Justin, he was supposed to go live at 8, I thought. But maybe he changed it because he thought maybe I was going to go late. But I don't know if he's in here and wants to go live early. Oh my gosh, I just got chocolate on my pants. Probably lean on me.
Can suspects project their guilt? Don quoted Summer as saying, "But Daddy, I only want to be with you." And I commented, if that's an actual quote from Summer, but is an indication that there's a comparison. So if she actually said, "But Daddy, I only want to be with you," it means that Daddy was trying to make her be with someone else, and she was protesting, "But Daddy, I only want to be with you." So if it's an actual quote from Summer, the context and the person she's comparing Don to is unclear. The possibility of being a verbatim quote in this situation could be Don was exploiting her, so literally pimping her out to another man, and she was protesting that by saying, "But Daddy, I only want to be with you." So if that was a verbatim quote, it could be an admission by Don through hearsay, through him quoting Summer, that A, he abused her because she said, I only want to be with you. And B, that he pimped her out because she said, but I only want to be with you. And that idea was so disturbing to me that I didn't even pick up on it on my first listen through in the video. All right, so the second comment is from longtime member Alicia B, one of the best detectives from the member section. All the people in the member section have amazing insights, and if you're a member, I try to read every single one of your comments. So thank you for being a member and supporting the channel, but also thank you for watching the videos, learning the lessons, and applying them. It makes your comments even more interesting to read and actually gives me those aha.
Am I going? Yes, I'm probably going to get off of here like pretty much any second now. And hopefully I'll go live and on my other channel sometime tonight. I at least have to upload content over there for some other signs for horoscopes or something. But yeah, there's a good chance I could be going live tonight. Wonder what Donna Candace thinks of this man. Right. Anyways, I think I am going to go, guys. Be sure to check out Justin. He'll be going live here. Josh Duggar and Dawn Wells. When I saw Josh Duggar on Justin's thumbnail, I thought that was Brandon Lawson for a second. Man, all these weirdos must look the same. I wish it was that easy. They all look the same, then be easier to spot. They all live in Hawkins. Every word that I mean doing cards for Playboy. Oh, you mean play? What? Took me a second to understand what you were saying. You mean do a reading on him? Yeah, that would be cool. All right, guys. We'll talk later. Ta-ta.